Good evening, everyone, and welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, the one and only, often imitated, never duplicated backyard superstar Tim Vicious. And talking about last night's Raw, or whenever's Raw, you know, through the power of time travel and backlog episodes. Either way, talking about that Raw. Yeah, Daniel Bryan wasn't there. It was obviously very much so felt, and the Raw, it was... No. I had my issues with it. It felt more, it was more so promoting and pushing things to help build stories or to create ones than there was action. You know, I mean, me personally, I prefer to have the action tell the stories, not spend a majority of the time on the mic doing segments and promos to tell the story. Either way, Raw started out, Steph coming out looking like that, having that queen bitch I'm pissed off, evilly happy look on her face. You know, she comes down, says Brian's not there, he wasn't medically cleared, and then was saying that, and was talking about on how a lot of people felt Hunter went over the line last week for what he did. And she even agreed. Me, I don't think so one bit, because I guarantee, you rewind the clock back about 10, 15 years ago, would have just been any other day in the neighborhood. You know, I don't see it as that, but I mean, I grew up seeing that kind of wrestling and that kind of brutality in wrestling on a daily basis. So I don't know, maybe I'm just desensitized by it and just look at it as, okay, yeah, just another day in the neighborhood. You know? But she was going on saying on how Hunter's gonna win his match against Bryan, and then he's gonna win the title and all that. And then, of course, who else comes out? Randy No Pants Orton. In which case, again, I really can't stress this enough. Why not even so much Randy, but just in general. Why? Why have the guys come out in their ring gear if they're not gonna perform? You guys are doing main events on Tuesday now because you don't want... You guys are doing main events on Tuesdays now before SmackDown because you don't want spoilers from when you're watching the pre-show on the network. So, you know, I don't see why. What's wrong with having them come out, you know, pair of sweatpants, pair of jeans, and their wrestling, and their merch. You know? But seriously, I don't see the... you know, you should give it the idea of, okay, if they're not actually going to be competing, make them look like, okay, yeah, I'm just here rocking around, whatever. I mean, fuck! It's a huge, huge pet peeve I have, and I cannot stand it for the fucking life of me. Anyways, Randy comes out, starts going on saying, no offense, started doing the whole suck up thing, saying on how Hunter did what he was supposed to, Hunter's gonna take care of Bryan, this, that, and the other kind of bullshit. And then Randy started going on saying on how he was gonna beat him. And he was saying to her, talk him out of doing this. I don't want to hurt him, all that. Ugh. And then Batista came out. Big surprise though, big surprise with Batista, he didn't have on pants that looked like they were spray painted on, which is a huge, huge shock. But then Batista came out, started talking about on how Randy is a horrible champion, he's a paper champion, you know, he's sucking up, and he shouldn't be drooling all over Steph. And it's like, come to think of it, pretty sure a couple of guys have drooled over you. In which case, not gonna lie, I may have once or twice. That's probably why Hunter buried me a few years ago. You make one mistake. That's all I'm gonna say. You make one mistake. Some people just never let it go. Anyways, Dave winds up saying that to Steph. She looks at him, bitch slaps him, and then walks out. And Randy just has that, oh shit, I can't believe that just happened look on him, like, kind. And then right out of nowhere, Batista does this god-awful spear where I don't know if it was just the way I seen it, but the way it looked when he went to hit him, it looked like he actually went sideways and fell down on his side at the end. Yeah, I don't know, but I had this conversation for a little bit with somebody last night on Twitter on it. Batista does a god-awful spear, and in a way, Big Show should be thankful to Batista because now Big Show does not have the worst spear in the business. But the funniest part out of that whole thing was, ironically, the one time Batista doesn't wear pants that look like they're spray painted on, he gets a giant tear in his pants that goes from stem to stern, basically. Dave, lesson learned. You're gonna wear pants that need to be functional for the ring. Take it from somebody that wore jeans anytime he competed. You're gonna want to invest in good ones, preferably Dickies. Anyways, first matchup of the night, Fatal 4-Way for #1 contender for the Intercontinental. It's going to be on main event. Hopefully it can catch it. Got a couple things lined up for right when main event's supposed to be coming on though, so probably won't. The match was Del Rio, Christian, Sheamus, and Ziggler. Crowd popped big time for Ziggy, more so than Sheamus. Can't say for the other guys because they didn't show them come out. And I know everyone keeps saying they want to push Ziggler, and I'd like to see him pushed also. But let's face facts, he's not going to get pushed. He's a ticking time bomb, basically. Not because of his attitude or work demeanor or anything, but medically wise. He's had so many head injuries and so many concussions. He's a liability. That's the cold hard truth. He's not going to get a main event push. He's not going to get a legit main event push because he's a medical liability. He takes one or two more shots to the head. Next thing you know, boom. He's out like Bret Hart. He's going to wind up getting told to retire just like Bret Hart did with post-concussion syndrome. But either way, for a Fatal 4-Way, it was good. I mean, me personally, I don't know. I'm just kind of more of a fan of Fatal 4-Ways or triple threats being elimination matches, not just first pin to a finish. But I mean, the finish, it was actually really good. It was actually really good. All the guys were going to hit each other. And Del Rio had the armbar in on Sheamus. Sheamus picked him up while he still had him locked in like this. Had him up. Ziggler came from behind, hit Sheamus with the zigzag. And then Del Rio wound up going face first into the mat from that. And then Christian hit a kill switch on Ziggler, tossed him out, and then got the pin. And they got the 1-2-3. Christian, he's the #1 contender. Hope that if he wins tonight, they actually treat him with a serious push with the title. Next matchup, it was Sandow versus Sin Cara. You know, I'm not even going to talk about this match. This was just fucking bullshit. Sandow is good on so many different levels, and yet he's being forced to lose to Sin Cara. Sin fucking Cara. Really? Why don't you just say, why don't you just say, you're gonna be the next Brooklyn Brawler then? Because, I mean, really? I mean, hell, it's... You want a good example of on how bad you could tell when your career's going bad? On if you wind up having to lose matches to Sin Cara. In all honesty. You know, it's... And I swear, I fucking swear, and they even showed it. The only reason why they really brought him out there to compete that night was because they were doing it to promote the Scooby-Doo movie. And go figure, they have the one guy who doesn't talk go and plug the movie. You know? It's fucking bullshit. Sandow is a genius on the mic. He's amazing in the ring, and yet you got him working this kind of shit. Next matchup, it was Primo and Epico. I mean, Los Matadors versus Rybaxel. I don't even know you can even technically call this match more as a segment, because the match was like less than 2 minutes. The best part, or I can't even say the best part of the match was the fact that the match ended. The worst part of the match was on commentary they said that Rybaxel is getting a tag title shot at Mania. And again, the tag division winds up going down into the shit. Into the shitter. And again, I'm speaking as a tag team guy, the way the tag teams are treated anymore. Yeah, it's unfucking real, and it's so insultive. You know, because contrary to popular belief, there is an act there, just like with one-on-one wrestling, there is an art and there is a chemistry to tag team wrestling. Now, you can tag team with people that you don't like, obviously. You know, but you got somebody that you gel with right off bat, no problem whatsoever, and you're going to tag team beautifully, phenomenally. And the fact that and you got people that tag team really well, like Cody Dust. And you just have them go and sit off on the sides. I mean, like I said, personally, I would have liked it if they'd have done a tag team turmoil at Rumble, or even yet, have the Usos do a gauntlet tag team match where they have to go up against 6 random tag teams that they throw at you, you know? And they have to do a gauntlet match with their title on the line. That would have been it. That would have been beautiful. That would have been perfect for it. That would have definitely put tag team division on the map. But instead, this is what we get. This is what we get. Anyways, on with that. On with the show. Like I said, Primo and Epico got the win, and they mysteriously faded out of nowhere when the Shield came on the scene, started beating up Axel and Ryback, and they wound up started slapping Axel around like he was a redheaded stepchild, got in the ring, picked up Ryback, and then beat him up just like if it was 2012 or 13 all over again. I don't remember. Yeah. Shows how much my head's working right now. They picked him up, triple power bombed him, and then that was that. Next matchup, it was Fan Dumbass versus Cody Rhodes. And I say Fan Dumbass because I wound up running out of other funny fan whatever jokes. Anyways, they had him on. That match, it was actually, it was pretty okay. I I mean, it was a good, solid mid-card match. It was what you would expect from two mid-carders. Cody, definitely see he's got a lot of potential. Really am hoping that sometime within the next 3 or 5 years they wind up saying, alright, you know what, we're going to give him the ball and we're going to see on how far he can run with it and give him the main event push. You know, the best part of the match, hands down, was Goldust screwing around with Summer Rae outside, doing his normal Goldust thing, and then doing the dancing. You know, I absolutely love that. Yeah, that. Cody wound up getting the win. It was a disaster kick, which was a bit of a shocker because to date, I can't remember the last time he won a match using that instead of just using Crossroads. Yeah, I always figure, you know, disaster kick, that's a signature move. You know, you don't normally see signatures score a win. Next matchup, Titus O'Neil versus Big Show. I know he says, how do you spell winner? Titus. I'm pretty sure now they're spelling, how do you spell mud? Titus. Because he's pretty much getting treated like it. Big Show, well, let's face facts. Big Show hasn't been a hot commodity since '99. You know, he comes out and everyone's saying, oh, he's the fan favorite to win the Andre Battle Royal. And he doesn't like people comparing him to Andre the Giant. Well, you know what then? You know what then, Show? You shouldn't have gone and had your career start out basing yourself as Andre's fucking kid. Duh! When I was Tim Vicious, I based myself off of being Sid Vicious's kid. And then I went and made my own thing. I never hid from the fact saying that I wasn't Sid's kid when I was wrestling. I still kept to it, but I didn't swear by it 24/7 once I started playing out from it or say, I'm sick of being compared to that. Oh, for... Titus wound up putting up a good show on the match. He really phenomenal. Really like to see him get a good push. You know, Intercontinental, U.S. title, one or the other. Like to see that push. You know, it would really mean something. Big Show wound up getting the win. What a surprise! He wound up pulling out 6 or 7 moves, then did the KO punch and got the win. Titus dominated 98% of that match, which is why I'm more so mad at the fact that they had him lose. Next matchup, it was Harper versus Daisina. I'm going to get this under control, hold on. John Cena. Cena comes out. Harper comes out. Yay! Never in my life did I ever think I'd hear a Let's Go Harper chants. You know? Which, I don't know if Vince wound up putting plants out into the crowd to start working those chants, or if that was just something random that spewed. Either way, I was glad to see it because Harper, for a big guy like that, he's good. He's really good. Yeah, especially, you know, aside from Mike Awesome, when's the last time you saw a 300-pounder go and do a suicide dive? You know, Harper wound up dominating most of the match, which is I absolutely loved. Best part of the match, though, hands down, was right at the end. Cena started miraculously getting that second wind he always does. And what had Harper up on his shoulders, getting ready to go and hit him with the AA, and then just as he's about to hoist him up, lights go out. Lights go out, fade to black, and I mean straight up out. Like, you don't even see flashes from photography or cameras or nothing. Next thing you know, the lights come to. Cena's tied up into the ropes with a sheep mask on and just like... moving his head around like that. And, oh, ow, just cracked my damn neck. He was doing that, and Bray was right by him. Bray, Rowan, and Harper were all right by him, laughing at him on it. You know, it was beautiful. Bray, hands down, is really carrying this feud. And that's the truth. Because while Cena's going around making all these lame jokes, making all these lame jokes, and still trying to act like a PG version of Dewey, you know, Bray's out there getting serious and making people think like, oh hey, he's got a point. You know? And it's not only that, Bray's skills, I don't think there's anyone active on the roster right now that could beat Bray on the mic. Yeah, if anyone that's on the active roster can, I tip my hat to them, but to me, I don't see any. Bray Wyatt, like I said, hands down, best character-driven guy on the roster. I don't see anyone different. Next matchup, it was AJ versus Naomi. Best way to remember on how to spell Naomi. Naomi spells Imone backwards. Keep that in mind. She came out again with the eye patch. Scotty Riggs wound up giving her the thumbs up, saying that she pulls it off in her own style. Me, I still say no one pulls it off better than Scotty Riggs. You know, can't even really say this, again, wasn't really a match. It was a segment because there was like maybe 30 seconds of action. After that, AJ crawled out from under the ring, said, you know what, I don't need this, screw this, and then walked out. In which case, really can't blame her, you know, given on who she's dating. Yeah, she's obviously going to wind up having that kind of an attitude mindset. You know, like, hey, I don't need this, screw it, I'm walking. You know? So, if any of you are mad over the fact that she walked out of that match, don't be mad at her. Be mad at Phil Brooks for influencing her. Anyways, next thing you know, out comes Vicky. She goes, starts spewing her thing, and then says that AJ's gonna have to put her title on the line at the Rumble, and it's gonna pretty much be against every woman on the roster. So, from what it sounds like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a gauntlet match. You know? So, I mean, at least we're getting one kind of a gauntlet match in for that night. And not only that, I think this is also the first time in the record books that the Divas title is being put on the line at Mania. And the part everyone really popped for was as Vicky was naming all of the women on the roster, she named Big Mama Cool Snuka at the end, and then everyone was just like, yay! And then Big Mama Cool just had that look like, eyes can get a shots. So, yeah, there's that. Next matchup, Dean and Seth versus the Real Americans. I was really torn on this match here because I love the Real Americans, but I also love the Shield. Real Americans, Shield. Real Americans, Shield. I had no clue on who to root for with it, so I just sat back and I was putting out tweets for both sides on that one. I was just like, oh shit. Yeah, I swear. You gotta hate when you wind up when you have two guys you like having to go up against each other because you're just, and I'm not just saying just two guys you like, I mean two that you equally like seeing in the ring going up against each other. You're just like, oh shit, who the fuck do I root for? You know? Either way, very beautiful, very nice, solid tag match. You know? Yeah, and they he sold all of his shots that he was getting and getting mangled by the Americans really well. And then you saw Dean Ambrose's version of hulking out when, Cesaro gave him a jab, next and then another one, and then he just got up again, and then he started no-selling it, got up, hit Cesaro, and then next thing you know, they're both on the ground, and then Dean came over, did the hot tag to Seth, and then Seth Rollins came in, frickin' ninja mode again, which Seth is just hands down impressive with that. Yeah, he goes, he takes out Swagger on the apron, then he takes out Cesaro, he throws Cesaro on the outside, and then he throws Swagger on the other side, goes back in, suicide dive onto Cesaro, comes back, Cesaro literally takes the impact so hard he rolls over into the crowds, over the barricade, gets back, and then Seth comes back in, runs off the ropes, goes somersaults over, hits Swagger, lands on his damn feet. This man's not even fucking part ninja, he's fucking part cat. Because he's landing on his feet and shit. Seth, he wound up scoring the win for the match. He did blackout. They're calling it a different move now. They're calling it peace of mind. Either way, it's just nice to see that they're letting Seth get the time that he deserves with that. The only thing I wish I'd like to see more of now is, them letting Roman get more mic time. But that's just me. Anyways, Raw on how the show ended. Paul Heyman came out with his client. Oh, let's see if I can do my Paul Heyman impression good. With his client, Brock Lesnar. I didn't probably say Lesnar long enough, but I think that's pretty good. Either way, they come out and they start talking about on how they're going to beat the streak, all that kind of shit. In which case, that aside, big thing that gets me with this is why not bring up the fact that Brock and Taker had a feud like all this time ago, from back in the day. I mean, because if you think about it, you could set that up to help plug the network. Because you talk about the matches, you show small little clips, and then after the segment, you can have Cole go and say, and you could see those matches that Paul Heyman was just talking about right here on the WWE Network. Yeah, and then right as Paul's in the middle of doing his thing, Brock Lesnar grabbed the mic, and who, for the love of God, ever thinks it's a good idea to let that man have a mic? Anyways, Brock comes out, says he's ready to fight, so he wants Taker, and he wants him now. Next thing you know, cue the lights, cue the smoke, and then you get the Druids with the music playing, and they wheel out a casket. And then so all you see is just them wheel out a casket, and then the Druids walk back up. You hear Brock yelling, "Is this some kind of a joke? Is this some kind of a joke?" And then going over, kicking it a little, going down, cracking it open, nothing in there. So they start getting mad, screaming more. And then next thing you know, then that's when you hear it, the gong. Casket opens. Then you see Taker laying in there, and then in true Taker fashion, gets right up. Gets into the ring, stares down Lesnar, and I don't know, this just me, I seen it. Taker looks a lot more leaner and a lot more built than he did the last 2 years. Not saying a knock on Taker, but he looks a lot more leaner, like a lot more, like he's doing a lot more, like he's hitting the weights a lot harder than he normally does. And he starts going to town, throwing the shots at Lesnar, and guarantee them two are going to have a slugfest and a half when they get in a ring. Because they're going to hype up Lesnar's UFC time, and then they're going to wind up talking about the fact that Taker is the best striker in WWE. And honestly, I haven't seen anybody lose a straight up strike anytime in the ring when it came to striking the Taker. He's got them big old giant hands. When they hit you, whew, I've seen Taker live in action, and when he hits you, and you feel it. You know, but Taker, he winds up taking it to Lesnar. Lesnar, he's up against the ropes like this, and then next thing you know, Undertaker winds up tossing him over. Lesnar winds up hitting head first on the casket. In which case, I don't know. First thing I thought of when I saw Lesnar, while in mid-motion, rolling over the ropes onto the casket, I thought Royal Rumble when Shawn wound up wrenching his back. That was my first thought of, Lesnar going to wind up hurt. They're going to wind up Lesnar going to screw his back up with that. You know, not saying I wanted it or I didn't, just saying that was the first thing I thought of, like, oh shit, oh shit, is he gonna hurt his back? Anyways, that's it for Raw. Yeah, like I said, it was more promoting and such than there was action. Did forget to mention that after that Shield match, Kane came out with the Outlaws, and the Outlaws were in suits, so safe to say they're the corporate Outlaws now, and announced that Mania, it's going to be a 6-man tag match, the Shield versus Kane and the Outlaws. So, looking forward to that one. That's all the time for this week's episode, so like all normal, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch all the other episodes. Look for me on Twitter at TimVicious, and look for my backup account, Tim_Vicious. Also, make sure you talk to me, or make sure you talk to me for a link to the newest episodes of Offshoot Radio Podcasting. Me and my brother from another mother, James Belmont, we wind up doing that. We're gonna be doing the next episode soon. So don't any of y'all worry. Also, make sure you check out all these cool ass cats right here on Twitter. My fellow co-host, James Belmont, JX2001, That Roxy Girl, Vicky Earls, I Am Danny Sunday, Mucky Morris, Helen Robinson 82, Axel Mulligan. He also has another Twitter account now, Darren Drambles. Make sure you'll check both accounts out. Hell of an educated fan. He does blogs on Raw, SmackDown, NXT pay-per-views. He's also doing 15 best moments in SmackDown history with SmackDown's 15th anniversary coming up. Sunday seg, March 30th. Me, Vicky Earls, and Ollie Ben, we're going to be on there. Can't wait, Kenny. Sinfully Sabrina, Cranky Asshole, Legion Lady Aaron, Oliver Ben, Just a Stupid Mark. Also, make sure y'all check out Ollie Ben's and Mask Mark's TNA Turnaround. Alright? Like I tell y'all all the time, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck yous.